one user, ensure that the script does exactly you want it to do before you actually launch into full-blown testing. So run a baseline test, analyze your results, make any fixes in the first cycle, any test data changes you need to make. Be aware that if you're updating data on a database, you will need to refresh before you rerun or restore your database. So there is a cycle to go through to ensure that you run from the same baseline every time. Once you are ready, you can then run your peak load test. These can be run for maybe a few minutes, a few hours, or even a few days. And what you'd be looking at here is you'd be looking at the effect of the system when it is running under peak load for maybe an entire business day or 24 hours, 48 hours. I've run soap tests that run for 3-4 weeks at a time to look at long-term memory degradation. So these are all tests that you should take into account. Once your load testing is complete, then look at stress tests. And here you're looking at what happens when you start pushing the system beyond its limits. So you could be running peak load, say you have 4,000 users. Let's run for 4,100, 4,200, and start ramping up and seeing what happens to your system as you put it under these kinds of stress. And then stability tests. This is when you're running your system under full load or above and beyond your expected loads, and finding out what happens to the system when things start to go wrong, how long it takes for the system to recover, what happens if components fail over, what happens if you're running through load balance systems and your load balancer fails. So you're looking at worst case scenarios and how quickly can your business recover and be back on track should you have some kind of catastrophic failure. Reporting, it is important once you've done your testing to report accurately and thoroughly, because if you don't, then again somebody will pick up on this and you're going to have to go back and rerun the test to get your reports up to the detail that's been requested. So again, start off with baseline tests. Yeah, run your baseline tests. Report on those and make sure that all the elements that are required are in your report. Include response times of key business transactions when you're under load. Identify clearly application system performance issues, i.e. any bottlenecks or load issues or read-write issues, performance issues that you've come across. Make sure they're all identified, where they were found, and at what point in time they were found, whether they were manifested straight away or over a period of time or after certain events have taken place. Also make a note of key changes that were made to the system during testing to improve performance. So if you're running tests with a database analyst and your DBA makes changes to key indexes, foreign keys, or changes constraints on your database, make sure these are all documented and reported upon, because any changes you make to the application under test have to be made to the application under production and across the board to ensure that changes are not out of step and therefore don't get lost through future releases. And also bullet points at the end of the report, your key findings and recommendations. So point out exactly what has been found, what the recommendations are, where those recommendations have come from, if they've come from your DBA, if they've come from your technical design authority, if they've come from your operational analysts, if they come from your business analysts. Detail where they come from, that gives the recommendations the credibility that they need. At the end of all this, once you've successfully done all the performance testing, you've written all your reports, you confirm that the exit criteria for the performance test project have been met. You confirm whether the key findings have been accepted by the project board and ensure the knowledge transfer to the key people within the organisation is complete. So effectively what you're doing here is at the end of the project, is you're confirming that, say, all your tests have been executed, all the recommendations and key findings have been accepted as true recommendations and findings by the project board, and to ensure, again, that all the knowledge that has been brought in to execute all this testing has been transferred to key people within the organisation so that future performance testing can be sustained. What I'd like to do is to move on to what I consider and what the industry considers to be probably the master of all load testing tools, and this is LoadRunner. Now, LoadRunner is the industry standard performance and load testing product. This is used for predicting system behavior and performance using limited hardware resources. LoadRunner can emulate hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of concurrent users to put an application through the rigors of real-life user loads. Your IT group would be able to stress an application from end to end, measure response times of key business processes. All this can be done simultaneously. LoadRunner can collect all of this information and put it through a comprehensive array of system monitors and diagnostic modules. So you're going to get all your reporting abilities, as well as all your different types of testing, and all of your monitoring tools are all encapsulated in one area. So these metrics are combined into the analysis module, and basically that is all you to drill down and isolate the bottlenecks within your architecture. One of the high points, I think, of LoadRunner, and this is one thing that HP have been really good at, is making sure their tools keep up to date with all the latest software. So all your web services, J2EE, .NET, as well as the what's becoming legacy now, .ASP, Java, all of these tools and development languages are all supported. Citrix is now supported. So LoadRunner has actually come a long way in terms of the types of business and the types of software that it will work with. Okay, LoadRunner itself basically splits into three components. There's the VUGen, the virtual user generator. This is the component that is used when you actually generate your script. So you would effectively record a script, say some user actions. VUGen would effectively record all your actions, translate that into a test script, which then becomes part of your overall test plan. You would then use the controller as part of your test execution, and in the controller you can specify the various elements of your test, the number of users, the user profile, how often you want the users to actually come in and do activities, how long you want each activity to run for, how long you want the test to run for, what you want to happen should the test fail. Then after the test execution, you have the analysis and reporting module, which can read through all of your logs and generate all of your management information at the touch of a button. One of the most powerful elements of the VUGen, and I've included this screen really just to give you a flavour as to the versatility of this product. With VUGen, as well as the scripting, for anybody that is familiar with Quick Test Pro, you will notice that the logic there, you've got the initial, the runtime, and the end logic, where you can actually split your scripting into, say, initial areas like startup of application, login of application, then the runtime, where you have the various actions that you can run and iterate as many times as you would in any given user scenario, and then a close down action, a tidy up, a log off, a final report, etc. So the actual logic of your scripting is very similar in those terms. There's the various runtime settings that I wanted to highlight there. You have your run logic, which I'm showing on that screen. We have also things like your pacing, where you can determine how fast you want the script to run.